Hi all, it's Shelly with Strategic Sales Advisors. And this week, I want to talk about sort of part two of a multi-level episode series. But this is sort of part two of building sales strategies. So last week we talked about building that data, the channels, closure percentage, all of those types of things. And once we have all of that data put together, then we want to focus in on, is our customer profile still correct? Do we have that right customer focus in building what we're doing and in targeting what we're doing? And, again, going back to some of the conversation we had last week with talking about our solution, if it's still relevant, talking about closure percentage and market saturation, and focusing in on things like, what client profile is converting faster, where are we getting a lot of our business? What clients are really resonating with our solution that we provide, or that product or service. And so if we don't have the client profiles correct, then when we build strategy, we're going to get in trouble. We're going to be targeting the wrong people, the wrong companies, the wrong organizations, trying to go after new business or go after additional business, and we're going to spin our wheels. And we don't want to do that. So really that customer profile is so important in the organizational structure of how we build our business. And one of the biggest mistakes I see companies do when they are integrating client profiles, because chances are, again, you have more than one, is they focus too broad. I think in the small to mid-sized business space, we can get a little terrified of, if I narrow down my customers, if I make that pool smaller, then I'm gonna get less business, and that could put me at risk of going out of business. When usually the opposite. Now we don't want to narrow too much. We don't want to niche ourselves down into this tiny client pool. But if you try to go after everything, everyone, all space, and you have this huge area that you can perform in, chances are that you will have so diversified how you're, who and how you're selling, that you don't, it's going to affect your closure rate. I'll bottom line it. It's going to affect your closure rate. It's going to have major challenges for you in building business. When we can narrow down to those ideal clients, those people that really need the solution, product or service that you provide, they need your solution. You will make an impact on their business by working together, by collaborating. When we can narrow down to that, yes, the pool of clients is smaller, but the conversion will go up significantly, and you will spend less time on people and companies that don't need you, where you're just wasting money spending time on those spaces. So we want to make sure that we have that customer profile still aligned. And those things tend to change over the years, potentially. Again, as products change, as the markets change, your customer profiles might change. So we want to take a look at that. The next thing that we need to figure out, right, as we're building is how are your clients finding you, and how are you finding your clients? We want to look at what is your marketing strategy, because marketing and sales, while they're not the same thing, talk to any marketer out there, they still need to be in significant alignment. Marketing is really there for branding, awareness, making people find you, right? Making people and companies find you and understand what you do. And then serving up, hopefully, what are warm leads to your sales team to close. Because you pay a lot. Let's just be honest. You pay a lot for your sales team members, and you don't want them focused on just, everyday things out there. You want them focused in on what's going to get you to the bottom line, what's going to close, convert, and get you revenue coming in, and get that revenue stream running as quickly, as fast, and efficiently as possible. So if you can get marketing and sales aligned in how your clients find you, that's incredibly important. On the opposite side, how are you finding your clients? Are you going to trade shows and events? Are you networking, in your local market or in the market that you're focused on? What are some of those resources? And on top of that, because that is a lot of time and expense, going back again to sales, team members are not cheap. If you are doing those types of things, then what is the cost of that? And are you seeing a return on investment? Because I do see that a lot of times in companies when they're building their strategic plans, they just add trade shows and events in that they've done in the past. They add in all these things that they've done, but they never track what they're actually getting out of that. And especially in the trade show and event, if you're if you have a business that can go to those types of things, those are expensive. And we want to make sure that we're getting, a good return on that investment of the time and money of being in the trade show, team members being out of the office, all of those other things that are going on, right? That's a lot of energy. That's a lot of company energy being expended, time, money, resources, and we want to make sure we're getting return on that. The other thing is are you considered a thought leader? Is your business considered a thought leader within your industry, within your market? That's a great way, especially in service-based industries, for you to be uncovered by clients. And then for you to uncover others. One of the best things as a consultant that I can be asked to do, and I love to do it, frankly, is to go out and do presentations to groups. CPA groups, right? To industry organizations, all of those types of things, talking about sales. My goal in those is not to pitch me and my company. My goal is to really educate, but with that, I become what is considered a thought leader in that market or when it comes to sales. And then when people have a question or they are concerned about something going on in their business, who's the first person they're going to think of, or who's the first company they're going to think of? Well, they're going to think of me. So another area that you could potentially add into your strategic plan. Are you considered a thought leader? Is somebody within your company considered a thought leader within your industry? Things to think about as you're building your strategic sales plan. And then finally this week, I want to talk about a big area. And that is, what are your sales team's capabilities? And this can get sticky in companies, especially in the small to mid-size range, when there's family involved, frankly, when there are long-term team members potentially that are involved, and we haven't necessarily been forthright or focused in on what capabilities there are. And it can get a little hard to have some deep conversations with people who maybe aren't performing or aren't performing like we need them to in order to grow. And I'm a huge believer in the fact that people thrive in roles that they have energy and light for. That sounds very out there, but if you put someone, or if someone is in a role, especially in sales, which is a very high pressure role, if you put people in roles that they're just not, that's not their thing, that's, they happen to take it because one, they want a job, or that's the only space you have for them, all of those types of things. If you put them in a role and you expect them to thrive and it's just not their comfort zone, it's never going to be good for them. They're never going to achieve personal success, right? And then you're going to have challenges with the fact that they don't hit that personal success. So one, we need to take a hard look at everybody within our sales organization when you are building a sales strategy. Whether that's just you and you're the single person in your company who is the rainmaker, and that is not your passion, and you'd rather run your company and work the operational side, or you have a multi-numbered staff in sales, we need to take a hard look at that and see, do we have the right people? Again, going back to what I've said before, right people in the right seats. So we want to take about that. The second thing is we need to reinvigorate sales on understanding what a discovery meeting is. It is, and I see this so much, there is too much pitching of a product or service at the very beginning of a meeting by sales, before they even know or understand what the client's major issues or challenges are. And that is monumentally the worst way of approaching sales. Let me give you guys an example, because I'm sure that you have experienced this if you are on LinkedIn. How many times has somebody connected with you or asked to connect with you on LinkedIn, and you have accepted their request and immediately they pitch their product? They don't even know you. They don't know what your challenges are. They don't know what your opportunities are. They just pitch you their product. Well, they're playing the law of numbers at that point, right? If they are reaching out to thousands of people, hopefully they'll get 10 that reach back out to them. It's not efficient. It's not a great use of their time. And we've talked in the past about, understanding what your client profile is, and understanding from the client profile what area do you need to focus on to drive the most business out of that space, right? So we need to reinvigorate our sales teams on understanding what is a discovery meeting. And that is literally a first date with a potential client. The goal in that is to uncover all of the challenges that company is dealing with, and to really get an understanding of, is my solution even something that could potentially work for them? Whatever service or product I offer, is it going to work for them? Because we're not something for everybody. There is no way that your business is the solution for everyone out there. So we need to hyper focus in on discovery meetings and get our sales teams to get out of pitching in a discovery meeting and get into questioning and listening, and really getting down and dirty with the client, and uncovering what do they need, what are their sore points, what is driving their business concerns, and then understanding, do I have even the solution for that? On the second side of the discovery meeting too is not only understanding if your solution will work for them, it's also kind of uncovering if you really want to work with that company or organization. Does your business, will your business align with what they are doing? Because the other thing that can be a business killer is getting involved, or getting a customer that is going to not be an ideal customer for you, that they're going to spend copious amounts of time trying to micromanage the relationship, or basically eating up your team's time, right? Because every moment that your team is focused in on, accommodating a client that's really not a good fit for you, is a moment they could be out there finding a client that is a good fit, that will be a good relationship. So two-sided on that. Second thing is what's the last time that you actually put your sales team through sales training? Because especially in companies that have been around for a while, and you have sales team members that have been in the company or been in sales for a while, sales changes. And, we went through a monumental shift during COVID. And I know this whole series, I've referenced COVID quite frequently, but we went through a monumental shift through COVID, and people having to relearn how to have virtual meetings, right? How to use not only the video technology, but how to read people through virtual, how to do things over the phone a little bit more, have conversations, really get to the bottom of things. And sales is no different. It is incredibly important that we have a keen understanding of what is new, what is the reality in sales, how are we adjusting to what's going on in the world, and training is part of that, and having those skills. And it's just like anything. If you are into any kind of sport, it's not like you can go months and months and months without training and then go pick up a barbell, for example, or months and months and months without training and then just go and be perfect at basketball. You have to continually train. So if you're not doing that with your sales team, I think that you need to focus in on that. The last area I want to talk about here in your sales team's capabilities is look at your organizational structure, and is it aligned with what your growth strategy goals are? Again, I may have mentioned this in a past video, but working with a company, and they have a team of 5 sales team members, and those team members were not only selling, so not only doing new business development out there, finding, uncovering, and closing clients, but then they were doing the opposite side of that too. They were almost doing the operational side in the account management. They were managing the accounts and the clients that they had closed. And that is an incredibly difficult thing to have as far as an organizational structure if you have a high business development goal, growth strategy goal. And so, from that perspective, we needed to break that up. We needed to have people who were focused in on managing the accounts once they had been uncovered and closed, and keeping those clients happy from a customer service standpoint, ensure that they were using the products and services. And then we needed people who were hyper-focused on being those hunters, being those business development people. So take a look at your organizational structure. Do you need to make tweaks? It's important. Again, going back to the situation of if you are a small company and sales is not your thing, but you're being forced into it as the owner and the primary rainmaker, but you'd rather be operationally focused, start taking a look at when can you bring somebody on to do the sales where you can focus holistically on either being the CEO or being the operational leader within your organization. That is going to make a world of difference in your growth strategy, because right now you're doing things, if you're sitting in that seat and you don't want to be in that sales seat, you're doing things because you have to. You're not doing things because you love to do it. And that is incredibly important, and that is a huge distinction. So I'm going to pause there. We're going to pick things up next week. I'm hoping that you're finding something in some of this conversations I'm having, some little nuggets that are hitting, around clients, around, how people are finding you, around your team. I hope that you're finding things in some of these conversations I'm having that you can take away and use in your own business. If you are, please share that with me in the comments. Like the video so that I know that these are getting across to people. And then hopefully that will give you an opportunity to subscribe to my channel, because I'll continue to put these out as much as people want them. And thanks guys for joining me today.